Loren Avedon, how the devil are you?
I'm the devil indeed. I'm one. Thank you. If I was any better, I'd be declared illegal. I mean, they seem to do that with things that are super. So no, I'm quite well. Thanks for asking, Scott. And it's such a pleasure to talk to you and to be a part of this series that you're creating. I mean, it's just a dream for me, really.
I know a lot of people are enjoying watching these shows. I've got some good feedback, but the truth is, I'm doing it for me. I love this stuff. I get to talk to people like you. Now, we've never actually physically met. We've exchanged a few messages off and on, but just to declare this for the audience, I am a huge Loren Avedon fan. When I was growing up, when I was a teenager, watched No Retreat, No Surrender 2, No Retreat, No Surrender 3, King of the Kickboxers. So from that 80s through to the 90s period, you were the man of the martial arts scene. I mean, Van Damme was doing his thing, but then you were the guy coming up behind his, nipping at his heels. And I love those movies, Loren. I absolutely, still to this day, I absolutely adore those films. And I'm so thankful that you're on the show with me to talk about them.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And Van Damme, or VD, as I like to call him. He is what he is, right? I mean, you have the physique, you have all of these other traits that are movie star qualities. I just happen to be in the right place at the right time to substitute for Kurt McKinney and then Matthias Hughes for Van Damme, because Van Damme, got the crap beat out of him, as did Kurt McKinney in No Retreat 1. And I happened to be at the karate studio on a Friday night. Who calls the karate studio at 9:30 p.m. on a Friday night but Roy Horan,
Yes,
Hong Kong.
Okay. So he's the guy from the Snake and Eagle Shadow, right?
But what happened is the guy answered the phone. He was cleaning the school and all that, and I'm beating the crap out of the bag because I haven't been able to train for like 8 weeks. And he says, "Loren, can you talk to this person? I can't understand him." Pick up the phone. "Hello, Jun Chung Taekwondo. Can I help you? This is Roy Horan, a producer from Hong Kong, and I'm looking for a guy above 6 feet. You've probably heard this. They could do martial arts."
I heard it from Roy Horan.
Oh, you did?
I did. I had dinner with him the one night. Well, I was doing Triple Threat with his daughter, and he told me some stories. But please continue.
Well, so what happened is, by the way, love Triple Threat. Just wanted to say, I was waiting the whole bloody film for you to fight, man. I was like, when is he going to fight? When is he going to fight?
Save the best till last.
So basically he said, I said, "You're talking to him, and I can come and see you tomorrow."
So Roy Horan is desperate to find someone to fill in the spot that Kurt McKinney has left open. For whatever reason, Van Damme and Kurt McKinney not coming back for No Retreat, No Surrender 2, even though they made it sound like probably they were, and this seems like a last-minute thing. And you got this lucky phone call at the dojo. Was it Taekwondo or karate?
Taekwondo and Hapkido. That's Master Jun Chung, Master Philip Rhee, and Master Simon Rhee.
Oh, yeah.
All through high school, I had wanted to train, but I didn't have any money. I was the poor kid in a rich community. I went to Beverly Hills High School and graduated from there. So
right.
Some of my mates had gone.
Isn't that what the TV show is made about?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the thing is this wasn't a TV show, man. This was a real deal. So the thing is that he called me the next day and he said, "Oh, I can't see you at this time," and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, well, that's the only time I can make it, because I just knew in my bones that I had to show up there. So I show up at this house in Altadena with my bag and my black belt and my stuff or whatever, because I don't know if he's going to want me to fight with him or what. I don't know if I don't know what's going to happen. He opens up the door. He's got the beard, the whole thing. He looks me up and down. He's like, "Okay, come in." I'm like, "Oh shit, here we go." And he says, "Okay, change into your stuff," because the first thing with the Chinese is, can you do reactions? Let's see your chops as a martial artist. The acting, not so important. So did that. He was impressed. he's going to see about 70 other guys. And I'm chewing my nails for a week, and he calls me and he says, okay, you got it. You show up. They found Matthias too to replace Van Damme.
Okay.
You show up at Century City and you sign this contract, or you don't. Don't give me any shit. Just show up, sign the contract. I did that.
He wasn't messing about then, Roy.
No, never did mess about, mate. He would absolutely put you in, on the spot. And he didn't want to lose face with, I didn't have the job even when I got there. I mean, at midnight, I think in Bangkok in the Ambassador Hotel, I'm doing some reactions for Yun Kuei, just to show what Roy had found.
So how long between signing the contracts and getting on the plane was it?
I don't know, I think about 5 days.
Oh, wow. So 1 minute you've got not really many aspirations to do this, and the next thing you know, you're in Bangkok making a movie.
0 to hero.
Had you seen the first one?
No, I hadn't.
You watched it before you got on the plane?
No, I hadn't. I was just just kind of in this whole, oh my God, what's going on? And then I'm like, shit, I got to start training again, so. Just
to rewind then, what is your martial arts background?
My martial arts background is Taekwondo and Hapkido, but with Jun Shan, I was with them for 11 years. They incorporated boxing and a lot of other, I was part of the demo team. I always had Master Philip Ree would use me to do the Hapkido cane demonstrations. They have a phenomenal technique. He'd put a hogu on me and he'd throw me around, and he knew he could just beat the crap out of me, and I wasn't going to say anything. I'd brush myself off, get up, bow, and go for it again.
So going into that, No Retreat, No Surrender 2. So you're working with Corey Yun, who's, part of the Jackie Chan stunt team, used to be, and, very well-known action director in his own right, went on to do the X-Men and many other things. Did you have any preconceived ideas of what screen fighting was, and what surprised you when you started to screen fight for the first time? Well,
I was lucky enough that Hwang Jung-lee was there at the hotel, and part of the, he's going to do that gaff with Cynthia Rothrock and play character. So Hwang would take me into the gym at the Ambassador Hotel and work with me a little bit. But again, I had already this demo team kind of experience. I had stunted a little bit because what they did in the 80s and whatnot. I was a Pepsi Slice black belt. That's how I got my Screen Actors Guild card, right? Again, call the studio. So I had some idea, and from watching films, I knew what, I had the sense of what was expected. But I didn't know who Yun Kuei was. I didn't know who any of these people were, really, which kind of worked to my benefit, because I wasn't intimidated or struck by this or that. And I was so willing and hungry that I was I wanted to do everything. I was ready to go. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Was it a shock how difficult it was? Or were you like, okay, this is what I expected?
It was something that I was able to sort of absorb, but yeah, I mean, I lost weight and I was in pain like you can't believe. I know you know this.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is I would teach martial arts and do private lessons for 8 hours a day at Junchang. And, so I was.
So you're used to the physical marathon of making a martial arts movie because you're training for long hours anyway. That's what I try to do when I get ready for a martial arts film, is I'll try to train, more training more often, just to get the body used to the abuse that you've got to put it through. Because it's an endurance, isn't it, making a martial arts film?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like fighting 4, grand championship tournaments in one day, every day.
So on No Retreat, No Surrender 2, how long was the shoot?
It was about 3.5 months. And
that's a long time, man. God, I'm envious of that. I wish it was like that these days. So the longest fight in that movie, I don't know what it would be.
It was most likely the fight with Matthias and I.
How many days for that?
Yeah. Wow, this is 40 years ago. Let's see. I think it was probably about 3 weeks that we did that. And that was, yeah, that was including all of the other stuff, the explosions, the Thai army coming in, using that location up.
But this is a low budget movie as well, or is it?
I believe it was, but they put a lot into it. I mean, the sets were already built, everything was there. I think
it really shows with the fights. The quality of the action is really great, and I guess it's all about the time, isn't it? Have you got the time to get the different shots, the different pieces of the mosaic, the jigsaw puzzle to put the whole thing together?
And the thing about it is Yun Kuei is not gonna. Do you know the word chun bong?
No.
Chun bong means fake. So they would do these shots with us over and over and over and over, and I'd hear if when say cut, chun bong, I go. That means we gotta go again. That means we gotta.
You don't want to hear that.
Yeah, you don't want to hear that, but you're gonna hear that, man, because there's no monitors, there's no this, there's no that, but they're standing there and they know what's working and what's not working. So you just
as you know, I do a lot of films with Isaac Florentine, who's the director known for his martial arts movies.
Yes.
And I always know when we've got the shot because I'll hear cut, 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 and then when it's a good one, you hear cut. Yes.
That is really thing, man. It's like that's
he's loving it. Talk me through a bit of this. Anything that comes to your mind as you watch it?
Well, the thing about Matthias is that he was a pentathlete. He was an athlete, not really a martial artist. So my bony little arms, when he's blocking and doing these things, they would cut the camera and his arms are just swollen, almost twice the size. They'd spray this stuff on his arms.
He probably wasn't used to it. He's not used to conditioning because he's a bodybuilder, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, look at all that muscle, but still, I mean, this guy had so much guts. It was just amazing. And he was so willing to do everything, because who can double a 6'6" German guy in Thailand? Well, no.
No, yeah.
So, we're doing that. And all of the stuff that we're doing, except, this bit was a stuntman, that guy that going around that bit, going through there, that's me, doing the jump, doing this and that. And this is Matthias's idea to kick through the wall, because what's he going to do? Wait and go around the thing and come out?
Well, just to say, I mean, my experience of working in Hong Kong, and you may as well be because it's a Hong Kong director, I suppose maybe he's got a Hong Kong crew with him, I'm not sure. But anyway, they don't mind getting doubles in. It's about speed. So if the director thinks I need a double to get this shot, then that's what's going to be done, isn't it? There's no arguing about it. And bring the gymnast in or whatever.
There isn't. But Yun Kuei wants the main person, if possible, to do as much as possible if they'll do it. And so, sliding down the thing into the guard tower, we did that a bunch of times. I was tied to a Nissan truck, to go down this thing and pull me back up. Now, I'm standing up above the deal there. There was a little stuntman named Rocky. I gave him my clothes, and this is how low budget it was. And this is Rocky. Boom.
Oh, that's a hard fall.
Yeah. So, because they don't want me to break my arm, because if I break my arm, the film's over.
Yes.
But most of this is me. And the stuntman came to me at a certain point to say, Loren, you take a rest. If you do everything, we no work. And I just was telling them, hey.
That's a very good point, isn't it? What can you say to that except okay?
Well, I did say okay. I said, but can we make a deal that let me do what I can do, because I need to learn. And they respected that. And, that's something that, I do as much as I can in this film, but at a certain point, they're not going to let me. They're just going to say, okay, you take a rest, and, we're going to do this bit.
Well, it's the
But
same for me. I really do want to do as much as I can absolutely do. And, I toyed with being a stuntman at one point because I had to make that decision. Am I going to be, a leading actor, or shall I go the stunt route? Obviously, we know what I decided.
yeah.
But I'll try and do as much as I can because I enjoy to do it. But yes, if you injure yourself, that is it. The film is, well, you're going to have to continue injured, and that really sucks. You don't want to do that.
True. And I mean, we get injured anyway, so
Yeah.
we're always looking our wounds. But, that's something that's absolutely true. So the thing is that that's something I admire about you and being Boyka and all that is, you don't have any pads. You're there, bare chested, knees, everything's exposed. And you're doing all these really incredibly acrobatic trickster kicking, that I wish I had been able to learn and do in those days, but it just didn't exist.
No, it's the new generation. I mean, I look at the kids now and I can't even believe what's going on. It's, we're all standing on the shoulders of giants, aren't we? The kids start off where we finished. You know what I mean?
It's true. And the idea is that it just seems like there's a next generation of athlete, and you're a part of that generation. So that's just phenomenal. But, did the best we could with what we were told to do and expected to do. And adaptation and athleticism. You're a tremendously gifted athlete. I did pretty well. So, that's what kept me going. And also,
you're great, Loren. Your legs are amazing. You're a tall guy, aren't you? You're not short, and you've got long legs, but you're very flexible, and you can whip them around at speed.
Absolutely. I mean, I would always just look as a fighter in the dojo or wherever else, in tournaments, whatever. Everybody thought they were out of range. You're not out of range. But, there it is. Where am I? Oh, your nose is over here. You'll be fine. But winner.
Originally, was it going to be a continuation of Van Damme's character and Kurt McKinney's character? Or, because, you've got the Russian guy and the American guy. I wondered if that was going to be their story and somehow they've gone to Thailand. But no, it wasn't.
No.
Longer than 7 weeks to shoot that movie, was it? 3 months?
It was 3.5 months. So that's about 14, 15 weeks.
It's like making a James Bond film.
I wish.
Those were the days, man. I'm envious of that. You know how many weeks I get to make a movie?
I would imagine probably 3.
On average, about 3 weeks, yeah.
Wow.
Lucky if we get 4. You got to move fast. You got to be rehearsed. So Young Kuei, coming from Hong Kong, was he choreographing the fights on the spot, showing you, or did you have some rehearsal time?
We have, typically on that kind of film, a 5-man stunt team. And he had this guy named King Chu, that was the head coordinator. And then they have 5 other guys that can double anybody of any size, shape, double Cynthia Rothrock, double whoever needs to be doubled. They just slap a wig on them and, yank them about, and that's that. But Young Kuei is the master. So we had an American crew for about 6 weeks on No Retreat 2. They wouldn't do stuff that the Chinese, DP and crew would do. They would refuse to get in that Klong water. They were worried about some, thing crawling up their, urethra.
Yes, we've all heard about that one.
Right. So that's that. And so they fired him. And then from that time on, it was all, the Chinese crew. Yes.
No Retreat, No Surrender 2.
Right.
Was it, it was a big success, right? Was it always destined to go straight to video? Did it have a theatrical release? Or, because certainly for me, it was like a video thing and it was big in the video shop.
In the United States, it was released in 2,500 theaters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I have full page adverts in the LA Times with me and Max Thayer and all that stuff in that poster. I sat at the Pacific Theater on Hollywood Boulevard, sweating bullets, watching my own film. I still have the little ticket stub somewhere. And it did a better per screen average than Red Scorpion at the time.
Oh, right. Okay.
With Dolph Lundgren. And it had a very good run. And so
how were the reviews? Now, I'm going to guess, because, it's a martial arts film and the fights are probably more important than, the story and the acting, and more time is spent on the fights than the acting with the, so as your first released film and opening yourself up to the public and the critics, how was that? Did you have a thick enough skin to cope with any negativity? Was there any negativity?
There's always negativity. I mean, come on. These guys, these critics, they are called critics for a reason.
They're called critics because they can't make movies.
Well, we know that, but here's a very nice thing. Like Variety called me the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Bruce Lee. And I thought that was just I get a little chicken skin right now thinking about that. But, after that was released, and then SGE, put it on video, and it was all around the world. Now, these movies were going to go all around the world. That's the brilliance of Siyun, of NG, is he decided to make Western English movies with, kind of tongue-in-cheek stories, right?
Yeah.
But for a Western audience.
It seemed like a winning formula. I mean, people were lapping up these movies. I lapped it up big time as a kid. Thought they were absolutely fantastic. And, there's some bits, like, I'll be honest with you, there's some bits that you watch it and you think, maybe I'm laughing at that moment when I'm not supposed to be.
So true. So true.
But there is a charm to that. There is such a charm to that. And I actually want to make a movie like this because I want to give that experience to the audience. But I'm still trying to figure out how to do it, like whether to, how much to be in on the joke and how not to. But there's such a charm to these movies. I absolutely adore them for all these reasons we're talking about.
And that's the whole idea that I would convince myself of, is this is entertainment. If the people are entertained, because when I'm reading these lines or playing this character, I'm going, really? But it's a movie.
You seem to be playing up to it. You do go big at times and you can see that you're having fun with it and you're in on the joke.
Absolutely. You have to.
Did you know that with the No Treat No Surrender 2, or did you think after that, okay, going into 3 and then King of the Kickboxers, I'll play more into what's going on there, or were you in on it from the beginning?
You just got to kind of roll with it, because if you're not given the time to prepare for the acting. You can spend all day gaffing the fight, and there's no previs, there's none of this, there's none of that. Everything's on the spot. And you shoot it, it's in the can, and you don't want to hear chung bong, and you're moving on to the next set of 8 to 20 moves. But when it came to the acting, they don't care, and the direction from them. You and Quay didn't speak English, so all you'd hear from him every once in a while is Jesus. That was about it.
So he doesn't know what you're saying when you're saying the lines.
No, he doesn't.
So you're on your own, man.
He doesn't hear it. And so the thing is but
is there anyone there checking that you're sticking to the scripts, or like maybe a producer or or Roy Haran?
Roy was there. We did have, continuity. We did have this and that, but the fact of the matter is it's a Thai gal doing the script supervisor, or a Chinese, a Cantonese gal from Hong Kong or something like that doing the script supervision, doing continuity. And then you are the character. So, as long as it works.
Don't move. Hey, man, I'm a statue.
Look, the overacting, I would try to do things, subtly with discipline and this and that. No. Loren, more, bigger, more.
Yeah. No, I've been there. I've done Hong Kong movies. And especially when you're, the white bad guy, the Guilo, No, you go, ah!
Yes, exactly. So you might as well go for it. Might as well go for it, right?
Well, you want to make the director happy, because he's directing the damn thing after all.
Keith broke his arm 3 days before we were supposed to start shooting Vitali. We got together 3 days before, and we had a new stunt team. We had Tony Leung Shin Hong, who was the Green Dragon Master in the first Ip Man. I don't know if you know that or not.
Right.
And then we had Dee Dee. We had all of the rest of these.
Dee Dee I've worked with, yes.
Yeah, Dee Dee's phenomenal. And then the rest of the team. So they want to test us. They want to see how we move. They want to see what we're doing. So we go to this little karate studio that has no padding. It's just like some glued carpet on concrete. And I want to show these guys what I can do on the bag, like some of these, you know, double kicks or triple kicks or, you know, flying sidekick back kick, whatever it is, right, that I've been practicing. Because I did 2-a-days for 6 months before we shot this. I would be training because I knew what I was getting myself into. And Keith tried to do something. They said, okay, Keith, your turn. And the stuntman walked away from holding the bag because I had him hold the bag for these double, triple kicks, whatever it was. And I'm like, okay, I don't think that's a good idea, but I'm not going to tell Keith Vitale what should be done. And I'm not going to, you know, override, you know what I mean? I'm staying in my lane. And he tried to do this double kick and he just went straight down, broke his arm in 3 places. So everything had to be changed.
Not a good way to start the film.
Yeah. And then G came to me and said, Loren, do you know somebody who can play your brother? And I was like, no. First, you screwed me out of money. Now you're going to screw him. You're going to throw him under the bus. So I was like, no, because Keith Vitale was like a big hero of mine, going through the martial arts. On every magazine cover, you know what I mean? So it wasn't going to happen. They just rewrote things, and like that bar fight that we do and those guys that are there, you know, that was a 36-hour day, if you can call it a day.
Which scene was this, sorry?
This is the bar fight when I come in No Retreat 3.
Yeah.
And I got the comb and I do my thing and I walk across to the bar stool and I push the guy out of the way and I sit down on the bar stool and the guy comes up with the thing and I do the butterfly knife and hold it under his cojones and say,
sit down or say goodbye to your balls.
But like I do that split kick in the beginning. Okay, well, there's no room for that. You know, you got to take a couple of steps, right, to do that. No, there's no room. There's a ceiling fan going like this where my head's going to be. And so I had him pile up some sandbags on the floor. I take one step, punch off, go whang. Like that. I had the wardrobe guys, a gal, make me some, you know, before this was popular, the little triangle that you can put in to the jeans, or you can have sewn in so that you don't, you know, squish your colon.
Yeah. Done that a few times.
Right. And I know you have.
There's nothing worse than a slow motion shot that also includes camel toe. Avoided at all costs.
Well, it's not just camel toe, it's your balls later going after the shot. And that was so Keith could recover and have a shorter cast, because he had a cast from here. And then,
well, you wrote it into the film. That's what saves you at the end of the movie.
Right. Exactly.
You'd be dead if not for that cast.
That's right. Exactly. And, you know, me with the soccer kick.
None of these Americans could do those soccer kicks so well.
Keith was upset that he's like with Strandberg. He's like, why does it take 2 of us to fight this guy? But so this is Dee Dee doing that little thing. That's Keith doing that.
Who was this guy you're fighting? Because I never saw him again, but he's pretty cool.
Well, he was amazing. He was just a great athlete. His name is Ryan Hunter. He's a Hopi Indian shaman. He is just a tremendous athlete. Was just so fantastic to work with. Now, all of these gaffes, now that's obviously a double for him. That's obviously a double for him.
Just get the silver wig.
Yeah, get the silver wig. Put it on this guy, and you know.
Put it on anyone.
Here it comes. And that's real sweat. That's not like they came and sprayed that on us.
Is this in Florida you were shooting this?
Yes, this is Tampa, Florida, where I now live. I live in Clearwater, so I fell in love with Clearwater. I I don't like heights. Okay. Do anything to me, but just don't make me have to be that high off the ground. Well, you get over it. You can't chalk your hands up. You can't do anything like that. You just got to get ready and do it. So by the third day, when I'm up on these unsecured wood planks, or we're getting up to that, after the second day, it was no problem, because fear is what you make it, or, right. You give power to what you give power to. Once you've accepted it, or you're up there and you're like, I don't care, then, it's all good. The only time I got hurt on that whole thing was when the cameraman's looking down at me and Keith is underneath me, and a focus pulling deal falls off and it hits me right in the solar plexus. That's the only time I got hurt.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Well, this is it. Like, I find when I'm doing like a big stunt or a big movement, you're very concentrated and you're really zoned in, and you'll get through it okay for the most part, because you're very concentrated. And then when you're not thinking and it's something simple, you end up rolling over on your ankle or pulling a hamstring or something,
Absolutely. And you do exactly what you're supposed to do with these things. Is the harder you throw yourself into it, the less you get hurt. It's almost counterintuitive, but that's the way it goes.
I want to talk about King of the Kickboxers now. How long between No Retreat, No Surrender 3 and King of the Kickboxers was it?
Let's see. 3 was 89 and King of the Kickboxers was 90. So I guess Strandberg had already penned the next of the series, or was, that was already probably on NG's desk. And it was just a matter of Lucas Lowe, who directed No Retreat 3. He came back and he did King of the Kickboxers, although Yun Kuei did come in for Keith Cook's establishment of Prang's, incredible abilities. So,
oh, right. So that was Yun Kuei.
Yes, that particular gaff was Yun Kuei. The thing about working with the Chinese is they often did that. Like Yun Biao came in No Retreat 2 when Yun Kuei had to go back to Hong Kong to do some reshoots.
Oh,
I didn't know who Yun Biao was.
Yeah.
So my ignorance kind of played to my advantage, because I wasn't like, oh my God, it's Yun Biao, you know what I'm saying? So
absolute legend.
Right.
Now this is so over the top.
Oh, it's gotta be. It's gotta be, man. It's gotta be, because who does this? Who walks in
and decides, actually, tell my backup that they're not needed, because I'm going to beat out of these guys on my own, even though they've got guns.
Pretty much, which never made sense to me. I would always say, how come these guys got guns? How come they don't just shoot me? Well, movie over.
Not bad, boys.
And Jerry was a little bit upset with the fact that he wasn't the star of the movie. And being the golden boy, anytime you work with kickboxers or MMA guys, I know you've experienced this.
Yeah.
You don't have much control. So you're going to get smacked. Really, you're going to get smacked, which is expected in these Chinese movies anyway.
I mean, we're all, martial artists, and we all know how to fight.
Right.
But then, as you said, you were spending some time doing the demonstration. So you're there with your partners. You're not trying to kill each other. You're demonstrating the techniques for an audience. So you know how to pull your punches. These professional fighters or MMA guys, they spend so much time hiding the punches and, trying to hit with full force that it's hard for them to get out of that mindset, isn't it?
Out of that mode, you're absolutely right. And also, you're trained not to show any feeling or reaction, which is completely opposite in film. King of the Kickboxers, another about 3.5 months, again, of fun. And, the thing is that it was a really, really cool idea.
Snuff movies. It's crazy.
Yeah,
But it works. It works.
The thing about it is what makes it work is Billy. And Billy wasn't really, a trained actor or anything like that. And he decided to kind of do this Jamaican accent. And we got together beforehand. Keith Cook and he and I would train in the hallways of, whatever hotel we're in, this and that. And the thing is about Billy is he's so humble, and he still is an amazing athlete at my age, to be doing Tabo classes and teaching 5 a.m. to whatever. But this guy is so fast, Scott, 230 pounds. He could pick the buttons off your shirt. He'd say, hold your hand up. I'm going to jab your hand twice before you can move it. I don't care who you are,
He can jump as well. That move he did with the 2 legs. Yeah, I've got to get some height for that.
That's him. There's no wire pulling him up.
Yeah.
There's nobody that's him. And I think that they had to actually put Michael DePasquale up on a little mound of sand to get him in the shot properly, to show, because they shot that low, obviously, to show.
He was jumping so high with those flying kicks.
Yes, and let me tell you, getting kicked by the 7-time world karate champion 14 hours a day for weeks and weeks and weeks was a little, tough. These Chinese guys showed me how to throw a punch so close and then pull it back an inch and then push it back forward again. So it really looks like you're really slamming them. And of course, the beer mug hooks, those are the best, because you see that full arc, and you want to use that full arc. But Jerry,
it's nice to have the meaty part to block as well.
And this is the here's the thing. The interesting part about the blocking is if you notice with a lot of other martial arts movies now, is they're blocking out here. The Chinese wouldn't allow that. They wanted you to be like, like it's just a last minute thing. They absolutely insisted that you're not going to block the punch out here. You're going to block the punch here or there,
This is great for you because, doing the No Trick, No Surrender films and having these Hong Kong guys directing it and choreographing all the action. I mean, you were learning from the very best in the business. And that's what was lucky for me, because the first film I ever did was a Hong Kong movie. And I did a few, and, I learned from the very best people. And I took that into my time in Hollywood and all the movies I've done since. Yes. I learned, and it was ingrained into me, beaten into me on these films, the proper way to do it,
Right.
Sometimes I take it into films in England or America, and they're like, what are you doing? It shouldn't be this hard. You shouldn't hit someone that hard or whatever, but that was the way I was taught. And to be honest, that's the way it looks best. So if you're going to kick someone in the body, you want to see a bit of impact. If you're doing it with the flat of the foot,
right,
it should be fine.
And or the power powder, and or the sweat flying off, or the little bit of water in the mouth that's coming out, or whatever.
Can I just ask you about this?
Yeah.
Great! Oh, I needed that.
I love that, man. That's the charm of these movies.
And that's kind of him, that's kind of Jake, is that he really gets off on, because I guess with any kind of character that you've lost your brother, or, you're a warrior and you've lost so many people that you love or whatever, is that you kind of want to die too. Like you feel guilty that you're still here. And like, how can I go but not really, do it to myself? Well, I'm gonna have somebody else do it.
No! No shot!
He is hilarious.
No shot! No!
Who? Which one? The kid?
That plays you as a youngster.
Murder! Murder!
Oh, they found just some young man who spoke English. And, they just picked him up off the street.
I love it. I love everything about it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's
No.
brilliant.
I've been there for 10 years.
They couldn't undercrank the film. We're so fast, he and I. And they would shoot, if they thought they needed to, they would, see, they couldn't turn that down to 19 or 22 frames a second. They had to shoot it at 24.
Did they shoot most of it at 22?
Sometimes they would, but stuff like this, they can't, because there's an organic bit of this action that has to go, that has to match that bit where he's doing this and that. It can't be and then stop, slower, or whatever. And then him doing that gives me a chance to recover and overplay the ow. And
then he's done one of those.
And this is that's the thing about working with Billy.
No pads on his legs or your legs.
Oh, I had some on my knees. I mean, that's why I kept first of all, why am I going to take my shirt off? It'd be like me taking my shirt off with you. I mean, they're going to look at me and go, okay, beanpole, super Adonis guy. Okay, no, not going to work. So, of course, I kept whatever I could on.
There's the water in the mouth.
Water in the mouth. And then, I mean, that's Billy's foot, but he's on a ladder and he's just going like that. And that they did shoot at something like 22. And
so how many days were you shooting this fight scene for?
This was about 2.5 weeks. And the fact is,
2.5 weeks of hell.
Of hell. And them burning, that's Dee Dee. Them burning this smoke powder in these sort of walks or whatever that just made you cough and gag, because if you see this smoky atmosphere. And then I had to ask them to please change the real punji sticks that they had in the water, these sharpened bamboo poles, to rubber, because I said, listen guys, I don't know about you, but you guys could slip off these platforms and fall in the water and impale yourselves. Never mind me.
It looks like you get kicked quite hard here.
Oh, heck yeah. And on this particular shot with Billy, I knew that I had to stick him a little bit with that last front kick. And so I did, because how is he going to organically go back and react like that? Well, the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to stick him a little bit in the gut. See that jump? I mean, there's no mini tramp. There's no.
Yeah, he's got some real jump on him. It's crazy.
Oh my God! And
he's a big dude as well to be jumping that high.
Absolutely right. And when you see him, the first time you see him in the movie is when Bruce Fontaine, gets the hook and the deal, and he says, "They are waiting for me," and you can see
good accent.
You can see how huge he is, really. But through the course of the shooting, he lost about 25 pounds.
Who would you say is the best fighter that you fought on screen?
Well, there have been. I mean, obviously, I think the top is Billy, really, because of his precision. It's just absolutely impeccable precision. And the lines and the beauty of his technique. You just see his line, right? Isn't it beautiful when you see technique executed so beautifully? And so I would have to say Billy, and then working with Keith Vitale just as a tag team. Again, just the line of the technique is just so beautiful to watch. And he has some long legs too for a guy. So I'd have to give it to Billy because of the true martial artist that he is. And that's why you're so great, is because you have this martial arts background. I don't know what your background is.
Taekwondo.
Well, there you go. So you have this footwork and you have this understanding of line and of the best line to make it really hard to see.
Out of all the fight scenes you've done, which was the hardest one to do? I think you're going to say King of the Kickboxers, but let's see.
I'd have to say Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a tie. It's just all of these end fights were
They all suck.
absolutely grueling,
Yeah.
grueling. But I'd have to probably say, just because I was so green, that the fight with Matthias was probably the hardest. Just absolutely grueling. I mean, even at 25 years old, it would take me 15 minutes to get out of bed
Oh,
on
day
blood
2
pressure.
is bad. Day 3, oof. And then you kind of get in the groove, I think. But day 3 is the one. Oh my God.
Well, there
I
it is.
remember doing it, Ip Man 4 with Donnie.
Yeah.
And, you've got your stunt double that will organize whatever the next bit of choreography is because they're making it up on the day. I remember walking in day 3 in the morning and my body was absolutely killing me because, I'm in my 40s at this point. And the first thing I see is my stunt double on the mats doing all these crazy kicks. And I just remember thinking, not today. Oh God, not today.
And that's when you give yourself a Jimmy, you start slapping the back of your neck and going,
yeah,
oh, come on.
Get me the skipping rope. I need some warm up. Talk us through what you love about this film.
Okay, so part of the thing that makes this, Koichi Sakamoto is this, and Steve, I think Wang, is if you notice, Mark is always pretty much in the center of the shot, and they are definitely speeding up the camera. They're definitely running 22 on a lot of this. But what makes it so great is the lines, is these when you do all of these, see all these flailing moves, and then these hits, they are really hits. See,
Yeah.
Mark is just so, to watch him move is just so beautiful because he is absolutely an amazing athlete. And I would say, of the time, kind of the Bruce Lee for his time.
Here, this is a Guyver kick off the wall.
Right, it's a Guyver kick, one of your kicks.
Bang!
Bang off the wall. Which, I love, really. And, of course, he's way out of ammo all the time. He's shooting with this whatever weapon. And poor Brittany Murphy, rest her soul, she's gone too soon. Now, these guys are obviously swinging, some foamy, things. But what's great, look at how they add a little flash sort of, I don't know why these flashes.
The camera it works so well with the action. The camera is always moving with the action. It's not too wide, but it's never too tight that you don't see what's going on.
Right, but he's always in the center. And then when they pick the angles to shoot this, it's all about the hits. It's all about where the cell is.
I mean, I was told that they would sleep on the set, Alpha Stunts.
Hell yeah. Hell
yeah.
And everything is organic. I love it. He slides down. It's just beautiful how it's all put together. And, I hope that it's got to have been a fake a beer keg, but maybe not. They probably wired that thing and threw it right in that guy's face. And, that's what I'm saying. I love that. I love the idea that somebody's getting hurt here. It's just like, oh yeah.
Oh, that's very attractive when you actually see the physical pain or see somebody get hit hard. I love it. I love to see Tony Jaa kick someone in the head. I just love it. I know it's hard.
You nailed it. That thing where, and this is why I love working in Asia, honestly true, is that you can get away with so much more than you could anywhere else.
When I went, obviously I've done a few films in Thailand as well. And yeah, they're stuntmen, they're so game. There was one thing that I did in a Hard Target 2, and I had to back kick this guy. But there's a bit of choreography going into it. And I knew that if I did that and I stuck the back kick, then we had a green light to go for the rest of the gag, which is he was going to move back and I needed to do a jumping knee and he's going to smash through all this wood and go into the ground. And it was a gnarly stunt to do. But it was that whole thing is where we're running the whole gag. And I knew if I stuck him hard with the back kick, that we were good to go. And I remember I hit him quite hard, but he didn't have a problem with it at all. He was well up for it. He was ready for take 2.
Now! There you go. You basically pinned his shoulders together from the impact. You know what I mean? But that's what and we were expected to do. And that's what they want because that sells. I mean, it sells.
Well, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch.
It is. No, so it's something that I miss, really about doing anything is people would ask me, oh, aren't you afraid of, you know what, I was more afraid not to take that and to do that and to know that I could do that, and probably you the same, have that same mindset of when you're concentrated and you're focused, that you are just ready, you're ready for that. And I went back into stunting so that I could be a single dad, so that I could take care of my mom, so that I could do all of these things and have the time to pick my daughter up from school. And so, that's just the beauty of it, is that we have this sort of, I don't know, I guess fire in us, where we want that. We want to feel it. We want to give it. We want to take it, and, kind of go later on, yeah, I did that. Right.
Yes, well, for me, it's just having the opportunity to do what I love to do. And when I'm doing it, I just put 100% into it. And if it means that I've got to get kicked to make it look good, then I'm happy to do it. And, we're all working together with a common goal. We're trying to keep as safe as possible. But sometimes, it's nice for one of the stunt guys to step up and say, no, I'll take a good hit for this because it's going to look great. Right. And obviously we love those guys, and we've done it ourselves. And that's what it's all about. That's the business we're in.
And we are immortalized that way. So don't you want to be immortalized as, looking as badass as you possibly can? Of course.
Yes.
Pain is temporary, film or video or whatever it is now. Digital is forever.
Yeah. Turns out, though, pain lasts a bit longer.
Exactly. It's my body's constantly going, you remember when you did that? Well, let me remind you.
So I told you shouldn't have done take 4. Put your body on the line to entertain me. When I was younger, growing up watching your movies, you were part of the reason why I do what I do today. So I want to say thank you to you, and all those bumps and bruises that you still feel to this very day. Let me tell you, it was all worth it, because you have entertained me and many others, and we thank you for that.
Oh, Scott, it's my pleasure. All I can tell you is that I wouldn't have it any other way. It wouldn't change a thing. And it's just, I'm getting a little teary-eyed hearing that. Because you're one of my, I am such a huge fan of yours.
Do you remember, actually just remembering that time you were at the Aston Villa Leisure Centre in Birmingham in the UK?
You got it, man.
You won't remember me because we spoke about this. But yeah, I ran up and I got your autograph. I was like, thanks a lot, Loren. And you said, you got it, man. I was like, yeah, thanks.
Absolutely, Scott. It's a pleasure. And I hope we get to team up, because, I think we could be blood.
Still got some moves.
Yeah, we got some moves. Well, you got some moves. But, let's just say I hope we get to play sometime as well, because it would be an absolute dream for me.
Oh, that's good to know. Thanks, Loren.
Cheers.